Where, at the beginning, where I write author's notes, I state something like that. And it says, and I quote a song by Ziggy Marley. He says, "Black my story, not his story." Now, by black my story, you can hear it's actually a play with words, because it's actually saying a black man's story, not his story. He says from education to civilization, from astrology straight to biology, from Marrakesh to Egypt, from Cape Town to Addis Ababa, from Libya to Senegal. He says, you must just follow the black man's story. He says, black my story. Because the other one is his story, which is history. So essentially, that notion of Mzilikazi running away almost immediately gets to be discounted by the name that Amantungwa are known for. One of the names that they are called is Mahlabe Zulu. Now, this is not a coincidence. They're called Mahlabe Zulu. Now, how could they be called Mahlabe Zulu when they were on the run? Beba Shabana no Zulu. And in fact, in the praise singing, they go deeper about it, about how and what happened at that instance. Because, and if you take it a little bit further back to what I was talking about, Mzilikazi basically had been very resolute about the fact that Shaka is his equal. And there is no way that he's going to be continuing to take instructions and being sent left to right and so on. He said that no, we are equal contestants. And what is interesting, like I said, is that Shaka never followed him. All the time. Interesting, Mzilikazi was always planning to say that, what if this man comes after me? But Shaka never did that. In his book, Shaka's Emperor Shaka, Mazizi Kunene says that the warriors, they actually made an opening and allowed for Mzilikazi to escape. And I was saying, well, I don't know, I'm not sure about that. He said they even were whispering, "Run, for Mashobani, run." But the interesting thing is that you are sitting with the history that is being narrated around what happened at that time and how is it that Mzilikazi ultimately ended up being totally away from there. What is interesting is that he did not live with all the Kumalos when he left. And Mazizi Kunene continues in his book, Emperor Shaka, to say that even much later when Mzilikazi had left, the Kumalos continued to despise Shaka. He says at one stage they had cattle that they had hidden away in the river, or rather next to the river bench, and they couldn't get them. And so when they came to report to Shaka that, no, we've seen those cattle, can we go and fetch them? He said, no, Amantungwa bayeke. And which was very interesting to show that he had a whole lot of respect for Mzilikazi, even long after he had left. And you know what is interesting? When I was in Zim and I met the descendants of Mzilikazi, they were saying, Zulu have acknowledged, which comes back to your question, have acknowledged the role that Mzilikazi played for them to be a nation. Because can you imagine if Shaka had been killed by Uzwide at that time? That's number one. Number two, the notion of him giving so much inside information and actually being at the forefront and leading in the war. So Zulu, they were saying to me that Zulu have acknowledged that to a point that when the council of Zululand is being made, they consider it to be incomplete if unganamtunga. Right up to the time when Uzwelithini was here, whenever they would have functions, they would invite Amantunga. Because they're saying this is an incomplete thing because we actually have, probably they will then also say about Tongati or about Tongabo. They are like this because of them.